coatings. These, they come in a little jar like this. They may or may not have this sparkly label on it. If yours doesn't have the label, it's still going to have all the instructions in the package. Just some of them were already labeled from our big launch of this product a couple months ago, and now we're going to sell them in individual sets. So they come in a 2/3 of an ounce jar, and they are specially blended palette colors by us at Create Along, because we know that what our people like is more of the transparent colors and the blingy colors that have a little glitter in it, or the colors that have like, we call them pop rocks. They're kind of like a vintage chic with a little black and a little white and a little bit of like muted colors. So those are the Pop Rocks collections. There's 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use them. Now, you can use them on clay and you can use them on metal. And I'm going to pull out some metal charms and show you what that's like, because it's tons of fun. And you're going to need 2 tools. You're going to need a heat gun. So this is my Wagner. I think this is a Wagner 4000. And it's a little guy, and it sits on my work desk. It has a little easel thing to hold it up, like a little tripod. And it's really easy to use. It has 2 settings on the back. You just turn it on and use it. This part of a heat gun gets extremely hot, so you don't want to be putting your fingers anywhere near that. And it does get loud, so today's video we're going to have a little bit of noise. I will see if I can mute it. I'm not sure that I can easily do that while I'm live. So you're going to need a heat gun, and you're going to need some kind of a tweezer. So I have 3 kinds to share with you. This is the kind I prefer. These are Jewelry Makers tweezers. And the reason I like them is because they hold themselves shut. See that? It holds itself shut. It's like a reverse action tweezer. And it also has wood little thingies on here with a handle, so that my fingers are never going to come in contact with the metal part, because that is the part that would burn me if it got too hot. So I really love this style of jewelry tweezer. Now, if you don't have those, the next thing you might want to try would be something like this. This is a tool I had for holding little like mini like pom-pom things. Hello. And if you're watching, say hi so I can see your name come up, and that way I know who's with me. So this is like a little clip, and it can hold on to things. It's kind of like a roach clip from the 70s or whatever, but this came with this says Pebbles ink on it. It came with a kit of like little pom-pom thingies that you could pick up and use to smear things around, but it holds onto a piece of clay really well. So see, the theme here is that you would use a tweezer or a clip that's made of metal, and that's going to hold onto the piece so that you don't have to, because you want your fingers to be far away from the heat gun. All right, and then the third option would be a regular tweezer, but if you're going to use a tool like this, you've got to use something like a pair of gloves that will protect your hands, or a pot holder or something. And also, the reason I don't love this is because you have to concentrate on holding this shut yourself. You can't relax. If you let go of the clay, you're gonna drop it, okay? So you have to hold this actively yourself with your fingers. So that I don't love, all right, for a couple of reasons. It will work in a pinch if that's all you've got, okay, but not the preferred tool. So I'm going to go ahead and use my jewelry pliers for this, and I'm going to switch around so that you can see what I'm doing. So I have, here, let me switch you, and then we can talk about what else is on my work surface here. So give me a moment to flip around my camera and get you on a tripod. Sorry about the motion. Okay, so here I have my heat gun ready to go, and my tweezer. This is the new Sculpey Souffle khaki color. In case you missed the beginning of the video, I was talking about that. That just came in the mail. Great color for Christmas type stuff, right? So there's that. And now I have a bunch of baked clay pieces. So I have a couple butterflies, and I have some other things. I wanted to show you the beautiful transparent effects that you can get. So I have some, these are all pre-baked polymer clay pieces, right? I have some of a collection that I did with the leopard skin silkscreen, and it's on like a blush pink clay so that you can see the pattern through the powder. I have a pile of these. This is what I use for swatching my Dazzle Dust colors, because then you can kind of see how they break over textures. That's a textured piece. And there's some mica powder in here. They're pearl Sculpey clay. So I just like swatching things on these little guys because then I can see what's really happening. So I have a little pile of those. And then I have some earring pieces that I made last year around this time because it's Thanksgiving time. I'm gonna be in a little pop-up jewelry fair in a couple of weeks, and I pulled out some earring pieces that I had made that I never sold. And maybe these are a little boring, so I can use Dazzle Dust to decorate them. So I even have one that's like half made into an earring and half not. So if you have little pieces and bits and bobs lying around of things that you never finished, Dazzle Dust is a fun way to play with those and bring some new life to them. So I'm just pulling out some things that I have sitting around that I thought could benefit. So these are like mixes of glitter clays that are like, they're okay as a neutral earring, but they could use a little something extra. So this is all earring parts that are ready to be turned into something more fun. So we'll just play. All right, and then I have here, this is my little box, the cigar box full of Dazzle Dust. And the way we get started is by setting out a coffee filter. The reason for that is your Dazzle Dust is going to be like a glitter. So it's a dust and you don't want it to get lost or go everywhere. So I'm going to use a coffee filter to catch the excess. So this is the Twilight color, and you're going to notice that your colors have a sticker on the top and that they are not going to look the same before you heat them as after. So here's how this works. Let's do a swatch first, and then maybe I'll do the butterfly. Right, so first I'm going to use it on my white clay, and I'm going to hold on to the clay on one side with my tweezer, making sure that your hands are not going to get hurt here. Right, and we're going to turn on the heat gun, so I apologize for the noise, but it's not really avoidable. And we're going to heat up this clay. And since you're going to be looking at me from above, let me just explain what's happening. I'm going to be turning this clay in the heat gun because I don't want to concentrate the heat on one part and potentially break the clay. But I do need to warm this entire piece of clay so that it's hot enough for the powder to stick to it. Because right now it kind of sticks, but it comes right off. This powder is designed to stick to hot objects. So let's go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to just heat it up. While it's hot, we're going to dip, shake off the excess, and watch it do its magic, which on the first coat, it's just going to stick. It's not going to be super glossy or thick. We're going to warm it again to gloss it over. So you can see here how the color has darkened, and especially in the cracks where it's a little thicker, you're seeing that it's a darker color. And if I can catch the light a little bit, I've got a slight sheen, but not a ton of gloss. Okay, and then coat 2 is going to give me that glossy effect. So I'm going to heat this again and do the dipping one more time. See how pretty that is? Now we've got the glossy coated effect. But it is still transparent. So that's what I want you to see. And I'll do a piece of the leopard print in a minute so you can see. You can also see here how building it up in layers makes it darker and thicker. Okay, very glossy and pretty. This is completely waterproof. So you can make jewelry that can be, your jewelry can be worn in swimming or in the shower. It's okay if you jump in the pool. Nothing's gonna come off. So what I wanted to try to do here was work on some of these other colors that we are releasing that are not in the original set. So this one's called Water Blue. And when you get these, they're going to be shrink wrapped, and you just peel open the shrink wrap. This is to protect them in the mail from falling apart and going everywhere. So this one's called Blue Water. And I'm going to go ahead and swatch it, and then I'm going to put it over something else. I'm trying to decide which one I want to put over the cheetah or leopard print because I'm just not sure. So let me swatch this first and see how it goes. So there you can see the first coat, and you could stop here if you wanted to. That's totally fine. And you can see also that it's different, very different from the other color I was just using, which was Twilight. But you can also see the difference between like the slight sheen and sparkle and the deep glossy coating that you get when you go for that second coat. So let's do that. Very nice. This is more, the Twilight's more of a turquoise, and the Blue Water is definitely more of a blue, a bluer blue. So you can see here how as this powder builds up, you get the gloss and you get the deeper colors where there's more powder, right? So I absolutely love it. Let me do this on some metal so that you can see what that looks like. All right. I have a bunch of brass charms. I know that's loud. So let's do it on a brass charm. Here's a fun charm that's got a little mystical eye on it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab onto it on the end here. Can you do the whole top surface at once? So you can do that by pouring, if you wanted to pour the powder over it. This dipping technique is the easiest way for me to do this on video. But I believe Jan Montarzi, I'll have to ask him if it's on his YouTube channel. I think it is, where he shows how to like lay them out over something where you can dump the powder, sift the powder over. So let me see if either he has that video or maybe he would want to make that video for the tribe. Our baking rack, which is over here, would actually be something that you could use to do something like that. So you could like make a little tray out of pins and set your clay on top of it and then sift or dump the powder over it. And the whole tray is metal, so it would be okay to use the high heat with it like that. And maybe I'll even try pouring it over this charm too, so you can see what that's like. It's a little harder for me, Sarah, to do stuff like that on video because I'm not trying to take a whole ton of time to do it, but let's give it a try. So since I have the coffee filter underneath, I can kind of tap and sift the powder, and you can see where it's nice and hot, it's already glossing over. And then I can pay a little more attention to the spots where maybe it wasn't as thick. I love this on metal. This is also a great way to get your polymer and your metal charms to match. I'm being careful right here to try not to get it where my tweezers are touching the metal because it will coat the tweezer as well and stick the whole thing together. So you want to just be careful of that if you're tweezering. Okay, so if you're laying it over something where you can just sift and get that coating, then you'll have better luck covering the entire charm at once without sticking your tweezers to your project. So I think that that is a super cool way to customize your metal charms and make everything the color that you want it to be. And this has a tiny bit of glitter and sparkle in it as well. And the metal is going to reflect back through the transparent powder, and the whole thing is just gorgeous. Now I have only coated the one side, so I can go ahead and go back and do the other side if I want to, or it's not even really necessary. This stuff is very hard to chip off. It's pretty chip resistant. So because these metal charms come like this, I can do the other side of another one. So, and I'm not going to touch that because that's really, really hot. Just be very aware of the level of heat that you're working with. It's pretty hot stuff. So I'll turn this one the other way and go ahead and coat this one too, so that I can make a matching pair of earrings. Anyone have any other questions while I'm at it here? I mean, as you can see, it kind of starts to coat and stick just as you do it because all the hot parts are already bonding to it. I'm noticing that my heat gun wants to crawl away. I want to put something sticky under it. Hang on. So just so you know, when you're working like this, if you want to have something that'll stick to your surface, these are like little beading sticky things that stick to like glass and whatever. So I'm gonna put it under here to just stick to my surface and make sure that my heat gun doesn't crawl away on me when it's vibrating. That's all I was just doing. Just throw another coat on there. You're going to notice that your first coat's probably not perfect and you're going to need that second coat, especially when you're doing it this way. But I notice on my clay that first coat is kind of like a gentle shine, like a sheen to it, and then the second coat is where I really get the gloss. So it's going to look like powder, and then we'll just shine it up. Okay, now this goes on a lot like embossing powder, but it is not embossing powder. That is not the product. Embossing powder will chip off, and it is made for paper and stuff. Let me see, that's cool. This product is really made for coating things like metals and plastics, like the polymer clay and the metal charms. So it's not embossing powder at all. It's very hard to chip. It's a beautiful, nice coating, right? So let's throw some over some glitter. That's where I want to play. So that is the blue watercolor. Let me do a sample chip of one of these other colors that I have and do some over the, I just want to get all the excess because the colors will mix if I don't. All right, so I think I'm going to do this copper green color and see how that looks over the cheetah. And I'm just going to shake my coffee filter out because I don't want to contaminate the color. So again, this has a very slight sparkle in it, and it's a custom blended color. So here we go. I'll just pour it over the bottom half of this, tap it out. You can see a little bit of that sparkle happening, and let's shine it up. Okay, so that is coating 1. And because I put it on a little thicker, we do have a little bit of shine happening, but it's uneven. See that? It's like an uneven surface, and I want it to be nice and smooth. So we're gonna go with the second coat. We're gonna heat up the clay again and second coat it. Now there's a really pretty coating, but you can still see the leopard print underneath, which is what I really love about this product. So we've got shine, we've got gloss, we've got a little bit of glitter, and we've also got whatever pattern was underneath. Now this is a color that I need to swatch as well, so let me let go of that. It's just hot. If you're joining me now, it's very hot, so I just don't want to touch it with my finger. And I'm going to go ahead and swatch this color using a piece of pearl white Sculpey Primo that's already baked. Now, there's your danger. I think my tweezer is hot, so I just broke off the corner of that clay because the tweezer is hot, the clay is hot, so you got to watch out for that. Now you can also do this straight out of the oven. If you want to do the pour over method, you can do it out of the oven when your piece is hot. And then you can give it that little blast with the heat gun to shine it up and make it a deeper coat and add some more. So if I do this, my clay is still warm and it's gonna stick, and then I can shine it some more. Okay, so there's our copper green color with the shine. I really love how this gets into the cracks, so I really like doing it over a texture. It's kind of like antiquing without the extra step of using paint. So let me dump this back in. That's the copper green. Can you put it on raw clay and cure both the clay and the dust at the same time? So the answer to that question is you can use it like on a piece that's going into the oven, And then when it comes out of the oven, because this product, it's a lot like liquid clay in this respect. When it comes out of the oven, it's not going to be done because 275 is not hot enough to cure it all the way. Just like your Sculpey liquids and stuff, they want to hit 300 to get fully finished. Same thing with this. So you just need to hit it with that heat gun for the final step, or else it won't be fully cured. And it'll be like lumpy and still kind of look like halfway between a powder and a coating. You can put it over silver leaf, glitter, paints. This is a painted silk screened piece of clay, and here it's got the coating over it. So this can act as a sealant, a gloss, a little extra bling, whatever, but it can go over gold leaf. It can go over any of those special glitters and powders and things that you don't want to rub off as a coating. So that's the fun thing about this. Let me see, this color's called Bling, and I believe it's got silver and gold like holographic stuff in it. So of course it's going to be one of my favorites. It's just going to be like a clear coat with the silver and gold. So where do I want to use it? Let's do it, since I've got these neutral pieces, I'm going to do it on the bottom half of this. All right, so there you can see the difference between the regular clay, which this is going to be a Sculpey Primo. I always use that clay. Sculpey Primo and Soufflé are my favorites. So I've got the glitter, and then in the bottom half here, you're going to have that little extra bling and coated with the gloss. So super fun stuff. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to go ahead and leave this video here in the tribe. If anyone has any other questions, be sure to post them. I'm gonna quit here in a minute because I don't like going super long for people who are watching the replay. But basically this clay it's hot now, but it'll be cool in a minute or two. Doesn't take that long for it to cool off. And as we demoed already, if you're just hopping in, you can do it on metal charms. That's a brass charm. You can do it on the silver ones too. And I would not do it on something that's glass or resin because of the high heat that you're getting with the heat gun. You really shouldn't heat glass like that. You can explode it. And resin, yeah, you don't really want the fumes from resin to get hot like. So the heat gun, the heat gun has two settings, high and low, and I'm running it on the high setting. I find that the low one takes way too long. It's just annoying. It'll work, but it just takes forever. So I just blast it on the high heat, and I make sure that I move my charms and polymer around a lot. If you hit polymer too long in one spot, you get bubbles because you overheat it. They are sold, they're called Dazzle Dust. You can get them at createalong.com. They're sold in sets of 3. Right? Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you next time. You're welcome, Anita.